The next Mass Effect game by BioWare is on the horizon, but the biggest question fans have is who will be the main playable character. Let's discuss the possibilities of who will be playing next in the Mass Effect universe.
Lockhart QT.
Personally, I think Commander Shepard will return. Around a month ago, I already made a video discussing the possibility of Shepard returning. The biggest piece of evidence we have so far for Shepard returning is that in the N7 Day 2022 transmission, the date could indicate that the next game is set shortly after the original trilogy, and since we have the original trilogy's ending, it would only make sense for Shepard to return. Plus the fact that since the failure of Andromeda and Anthem, BioWare knows that this next game needs to be a return to form for the Mass Effect series, and what better way to bring old fans back who may be left during Andromeda and Anthem is by bringing back Commander Shepard and other older characters as well, such as Liara for example. Speaking of which, there's also the fact that Liara Tassoni is returning and is one of the only confirmed characters returning in the next game, as she's been in the trailer as well as the N7 Day transmission, and for me, you can't have Liara Tassoni without Commander Shepard in some way, shape or form. However, we could be getting a brand new playable character instead. I've also heard a few people talking about Shepard taking more of a NPC mentor role to the new character, perhaps a new Anderson, for example, guiding and training a new saviour of the galaxy. For example, you'd have Shepard in the background, or maybe a member of your crew sort of training you up and teaching you how to be a N7 and a Spectre. A new playable character would also let BioWare wipe part of the slate clean and let newer fans create their own new story, as you guys forget, this may be many people's first ever Mass Effect game. Next up, I'd like to talk about Liara being the new playable character. After all, she's the only character shown off in the trailer and marketing materials thus far, and older fans will have a personal attachment to her character and story. For example, her story could be travelling around the galaxy trying to find Commander Shepard, or perhaps she could be working with the Alliance to defeat Cerberus, who have made a new Shepard clone, which I'll do a separate video on, don't worry. Another theory that I've heard is that we could possibly be creating our very own character, as in a brand new character such as Ryder for example. In the Mass Effect universe, we interact with humans, synthetics, Krogan, Asari, Solarians, Geth, Vulture, Turians, Quarians and so much more. So why can't we create a brand new character based off one of those races in the series? This could also be like Mass Effect 1 and Dragon Age, where picking your race could have an impact on how other characters essentially treat you, as well as your own personal background. For example, in Mass Effect, you can actually pick your own sort of background, and certain dialogue options change. For another example is Cyberpunk 2077. When you pick your character's background, the sort of first few missions of the game actually change, and you also get different dialogue options as well. And I think that creating our own characters and being able to change the race would be super cool, and it would let players roleplay and come up with their own creative designs and backstories, sort of like in D&D for example. Lastly, I think that this deserves its own video, but I've heard theories and rumours about the fact that we could be playing as Shepard and Liara's child. The only problem with this theory is that this could really alienate players who romance, say, Garrus, Tali, Miranda, etc., and it wouldn't be entirely faithful to them to be playing as Shepard and Liara's child, because in their playthrough of Mass Effect, they may not have romance Liara, for example. But playing as a child of Liara and Shepard could open up a world of possibilities, as you could play as the child with Shepard and Liara mentoring you throughout your journey, and again teaching you how to be an N7, perhaps a Spectre, and apparently, Liara could, for example, train the child up to be a matriarch, for example. We'd have to wait and see. And again, it'd be super cool as well if you played as the child of Shepard and Liara, if they were Adat Yakshi, for example, and they had certain abilities and destructive tendencies. Anyway everyone, thank you so much for watching. I apologise for the last video that I didn't actually use my own voice. I used a sort of another voice there with AI technology, but hey ho. But I do apologise. I wasn't feeling 100% to record, but I still wanted to get a video out on Valentine's Day, so there you go. So anyway guys, for more Mass Effect content and for BioWare content in general, stay subscribed to the channel and make sure you're on the lookout for brand new Mass Effect content coming to a galaxy near you. Goodbye everyone.